Hey everybody, I am Tommy and you are on the lifeboat. How are you? Hope you're having a hell of a day. We are going to do a show here today that is nothing but just stinking positivity. This one's going to make you sick. Nothing but positive stuff. And you know what that means, don't you? It means about 25 of you are going to show up. And the beautiful thing is it'll prove a point that if I'm not hacking on people and looking like with a clickbait title that maybe I'm going after somebody, right? That the sickness out there probably won't show up to watch anyway, which is a crying shame because today I'm probably going to say some things that are closer to my heart. Yesterday, I said things that I hadn't had a chance to say. And you know what? Hindsight being 2020, maybe I would have said some of it a little different. But that's the story of my life, right? We don't work from scripts. We go live and we say the things that are on our mind. And sometimes, there were a lot of people that had reached out to me and said, it was kind of about time you did a revenge video or a fireback video. And boy, oh boy, man, if that's what came out yesterday, then I failed miserably in what I was trying to do yesterday. This may come as a real shocker, but I don't have a whole lot of desire to fire back at anybody. I really don't. But there are a couple of things I do want to go over today. Let's say hi to some people. Arabian Bard, Barbara Aldrich, Carolina, Canada. How are you? Clifton Ferguson. Good to see you. Lisa Trimble. Good to see you, Lisa. Johnny Scoville. How are you? Kristen Melinda. Good to see you. To all of you that I have blocked who are watching me currently. Good to have you here. I'm sorry that you blocked. I blocked a lot of people in that first couple of weeks. But today we're going to talk about some positive stuff. One of the things that has come up a lot recently is journaling, why it is necessary and how it works. And I'm going to do this. Check this out. We're 2 minutes and 17 seconds in. We're going to have this done in 5 minutes. And then I've got some heavy stuff to talk about. But I think this is important. Why do we journal? We journal for two reasons. Your brain doesn't shut down. And science has since proven this, right? Science now documents that when you go to sleep, science used to believe that your brain turns off. It doesn't. In fact, it's more active when you're asleep than it is when you're awake. So what we're trying to do is think about your brain working in two shifts. You got a day shift, you got a night shift. All right. The day shift would like to hand the night shift a concise set of engagement for what you're going to do when you go to sleep. So you write down what happened during the day and you get all of this crap that you got in your head down onto paper, right? It's an info dump. Get all of that out. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. It doesn't have to be fancy. But what you're doing is you're getting ready for the night shift because when you go to sleep, your brain's going to work through stuff that it can't work through during the day. You have dreams and you go, how many times you had a dream? You say, I had a dream and I was hanging out with my girlfriend and we were in this bar that I used to drink in college. But my high school English teacher was there. And the first girl that I ever kissed was there, except now she's married and she's actually a school teacher. And it's like all of this crazy crap. Oh, and there was a horse in the room. Well, your brain couldn't possibly do that during the day, could it? Right? You're not going to be able to work out these kind of thoughts. Your subconscious is going to do all kinds of work. But it's going to spend the first couple of hours that you're asleep trying to take whatever happened during the day and put it into some kind of semblance. So if you do that, journaling before you go to sleep, you're going to have a more productive second shift. All of the subconscious stuff that goes on is going to leave you better equipped to get up in the morning and feel like a human being. When you first wake up, before you do anything else, before you brush your teeth, before you go and make your coffee or do any of that stuff, you do an info dump. When you write, it's not going to make any sense. It doesn't need to. Just let whatever's in your head come out. You read it and it's going to sound like gibberish. It doesn't matter. It's an info dump. It's because we don't schedule our sleep patterns. So you might wake up in the middle of a friggin' dream and you didn't get it finished off. So there's all this crap in your head. Well, don't start the day walking around with all that crap in your head, right? Get all of that out. That was a guitar pick. Get all that crap out of your head with an info dump before you start the day. All it is one shift, getting the second shift ready, whether that be the waking or the asleep shift. Capiche? Does it make sense? If life sucks, journaling becomes a therapist you don't have to pay. No offense to Kristen Melinda or anyone else that works in that field, but you can save a decent amount of money by just journaling the things that are on your mind. When you go to a therapist, if any of you have been in therapy, raise your hand if you're in therapy, right? Decent number of you. If you're in therapy, you sit down and you talk to your therapist and you tell them what's going on in your brain, right? Hello, B lady. Good to have you here. You tell them what's going on in your brain. And when you kind of hit a stone wall, they say, well, how does that make you feel? Honestly, when you journal, if you feel like you're hitting a brick wall, Ask yourself how that makes you feel. It'll usually get you on to the next subject. If you say, Tommy, I can't even journal, I can't think of anything. Okay, well, I journal in 2 ways, right? I journal and I write down everything that went on during my day. And then I pick some time from my past and I write about it. And in the early days of journaling, before I knew how to do it and it sucked and I hated it, Q would say to me, write down the name of every single teacher you can remember from elementary school and something that was unique about them. Like I had a teacher named Mrs. Gordon who used to yodel in class and she used to like to strike people with rulers. Those were unique things. Writing that down made me think of 4 or 5 people's names from that class that I remembered. And it started sparking memories, things I haven't thought about in a million years, but it started peeling onions. And I started realizing by going through this process that there was a period of time in my life where I started to feel dumb. Not because I was not an intelligent person, but because they didn't quite understand exactly how I learned. And because of that, things that should have been very easy for me were very, very difficult. And it made me feel less than. And it's one of the reasons I ended up a junkie, right? And it took a lot of years for me to meet the right person who said, you have any idea how intelligent you are? Like that was a shocker to me. I felt like a freak. And I think a lot of people have felt this way. Hey, Lise, good to see you. That's my Brazilian friend. Hey, Blitz. But this is why we journal. Right? It saves a hell of a lot of money on therapy. And it is a daily adventure. And the more that you do it and the more that you commit to it, the better off you're going to be. And I'll tell you something else that's a real bonus. You get to go back and read through things. If something happens in your life, I said the other day, or I said last night that I said things. I apologize to my ex. I said things you guys don't know about. She didn't tell you all of the things that I said to her. But I wrote down a lot of them. And a lot of them I'm not proud of. Had I not journaled all of those, I wouldn't have known. My memory isn't what it used to be, but I had the ability to go back through journals and read things. And some of them left me feeling like I screwed up really badly. Some of them made me feel like I was vindicated. It's great to have your past written down that way because these things come up. These are important things that will come up in your life, right? Okay. And I said, this is a positive message. I'd like to move on to one. Yesterday, 90% of the messages that came in were so beautiful. They really were. And they were supportive. There were people trying to support me. A couple of you chose in the process of supporting me to maybe thrash on my ex. You may not believe this, but I don't like that. I really don't. I also don't take any joy in you thrashing Casper. I don't take any joy in anybody getting thrashed at this point. And I'm living in a world where I understand that if a bunch of you get on hating on my ex, then you're going to start to change how her life is. And I got no desire to bring to her door any of the kind of crap that's coming to my door. And the longer that this goes by, the more philosophical I've become about this entire thing. And I am a unique individual, I guess. I really am. I'm a unique individual because I have, over the course of my life, realized that most human beings can absolutely be in love with somebody on a Monday and hate them on a Friday. And I'm not like that. I'm not. I've said things that I would love to be able to take back. I've said things since the shit hit the fan that I would like to be able to take back, but they were me allowing the emotional part of my brain to make decisions, and then my mouth took over. That's a bad way to run life. So I've been trying to do a whole lot more about running my life using the part of my brain that deals in logic more than anything else. There isn't going to be any hate on this channel going forward. I'm not going to hate anybody, and neither are any of you. And it's going to be very easy for you. It will be harder for me. And I'm not talking about Reese. I've never hated Reese. You guys may not believe that. But I didn't hate Reese the night of the long con video. I don't have the capacity to hate Reese. I loved her enough to ask her to marry me, and I'm never going to hate her. It's not something I'm capable of doing. If that didn't come across last night, then maybe I didn't do a very good job. I'm never going to hate her. This may sound crazy, but I don't even want to hate the people that hate me. Hate is a cancer. It really is. And I'll tell you something. I'm just going to be real, and I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of shit for this. But I don't watch videos of people talking about me. I've said this a million times. But one of you left a comment. It was not cruel at all. It wasn't. It was actually a very nice comment. But it said, you know, your ex-partner doesn't look good. And I went and put on a video. It was the last one that he did. And he doesn't look good. I'm worried about him. And I'd love prayers for the guy. I'm sure he's going to crap on me for saying that, but I'm worried about him because I spent the vast majority of my life addicted to dope. And that cat looked like he was nodding out. That doesn't mean he was. Doesn't. But if he's not, then he's not getting any sleep, right? If you're nodding out at that time of the day, it very well can be because you're tired. It very well can be because you're not sleeping. And if that's the case, then thoughts and prayers for him, man. Not sleeping sucks. It's a terrible way to live. I don't take any joy in anybody going through that. He just celebrated a birthday, and I really hope that whatever's going on in his life, things get better. I don't have any hate for him. I don't have time. Got a lot I got to do, right? I'm moving. And if I can get the move done in time, I would kind of like to catch a little bit of the Diddy trial. I really would like to be out there for some of that. I wanted to be a part of that. It's, I'm going to have to do it very differently, but I would like to be able to do that. But I really want to see, positivity from this channel. I'll tell you, the beautiful thing is when things went bad, I had about 500 to 700 people in my chat. And there's something liberating. This may sound absolutely ridiculous, but there's something liberating about 500 people walking out on you because it makes throwing someone else away very easy. And that may sound crappy, but I'm not going to have hate here, right? So if you hate my ex-girlfriend, keep it to yourself. If you hate my ex-partner, keep it to yourself. If you hate the people that hate me, keep it to yourself. Because in 5,000 hours of this channel, we've never focused on hate. And I've gotten pretty far afield. I've started talking about an awful lot of stuff that doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. And that's because I got really, really hurt by how everything went down. But I'd be a dickhead if I didn't say that there was plenty of responsibility in that situation that falls on me. Everything I said last night, I stand by. I didn't call anybody. That doesn't mean that there's not a hell of a lot of responsibility for what happened on me. You're not going to hear that story because I'm not going to tell it. And my ex-girlfriend didn't. It's not the story that was told. A different story was told. But had I been acting like a better human being, well, we probably wouldn't have had this situation. Doesn't mean I was doing dope. Doesn't mean I was ripping people off. Doesn't mean any of those things. But I wasn't being the person that I want to be. And for that, I owe my ex an apology and probably the other people in my life that I cared about at the time. Most of those people have left me anyway. Doesn't mean I don't owe them an apology. Now, from this point forward, I intend to laugh a lot. I really do. One of the things that I miss the most about the good old days, like last night, Riley's Human said, I wish we could go back in a time machine to the time when everybody got along. And that would be fantastic because truthfully, we made great content that was funny as hell, right? There was some really funny stuff. The very first show that we did where we were on that game show thing, that's just never not going to be funny to me. It was such a great period in time. However, I've never been in a more positive place in my life, which is astounding because there's a lot of really bad crap going on. And the bad stuff is just, it's brought on by morons. But that said, I haven't been able to share with the audience where I'm at in life. And that's kind of depressing because I was able to share all of the lows of my life, all of the valleys. I can't share the peaks because with everything that's going on right now, I kind of got to shelter a little bit of my life. But I'm going to tell you this. There is a surprise coming in the next, well, I'm hoping shortly there's going to be a surprise. Obviously, Johnny and I are moving and there's other things, but there's really a paradigm shift, a paradigm shift that is coming. And I've never been more excited about a period of time in my life. And there's a part of me that's terrified. And there's a part of me that is really, really excited. Because anytime you close a door and open another one. But I think the time has come, the walrus said. Yeah, it's a good size shift. But I think that this is going to be something that is going to be so much fun for the audience. Honestly. As far as me as a content creator, where I'm going in the next year, as a content creator, and the things that I'm going to do, amazingly, because I've taken some time off. And hey, Annabelle, good to see you. Glad that you're here. I've taken some time off, and I've worked a little bit on focusing. Am I writing a book? No, I had a book that I wrote, but Reese was a huge part of it. Just keeping it real, because of what I thought was happening in the rest of my life. Reese was a huge part of it, and so it would have been really bad for him to put it out in the shape that it was in. And I'll tell you something else. It never had an ending. You know what I mean? Kind of an open-ended book. Well, we're working on an ending. And I think it's going to be a much better project rather, with a solid ending. And I'll tell you something, people. You may think this is nuts, but as I said yesterday, there was my ex has done a lot to try to apologize, and I appreciate the hell out of that. And I may not have said it yesterday. Maybe that didn't come across, but I know, because what happens is when an audience really loves you and you say something like, "This guy wants to kill me," your audience is not going to forgive that guy. It's like, and this is a great piece of advice, by the way, if you're newlywed or you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend or anything like that, you can go to your family and say, "I hate Kevin so much. Do you know what he did to me?" You're going to forgive Kevin by dinner, and your family is never going to forgive Kevin for what you told them that day. Do you understand what I mean? Audiences are the same way. And time goes by and you go, "Oh my God, I wish I could have handled that differently." But your audience is going to hate me for the end, till the end of time. So for her to go out and do an apology tour isn't making her any friends with her own audience. And I respect the crap out of the fact that she's willing to apologize, especially if it's not benefiting her. And it's not. So if I didn't put that across yesterday, I appreciate that. I really do. And I respect the hell out of that. And there's a part of me that wonders if there isn't a day where I'm going to come on here and she's going to pop up in the green room wanting to come on and say hello. And maybe I'm delusional, and I don't know whether or not I would click her on. But whenever I'm talking like this, I kind of feel like there's a shot she'll show up. We did a lot of stuff together, and she could show up in this platform if she wanted. It's I am very excited about the future, and I'll tell you something else. I want this. I said yesterday, I want this put to bed, and it is absolutely going to bed, right? And for all of you that want to just keep riding out that hate thing, I wrote about a 3,000-page apology to my ex today. Haven't sent it yet because I'm still going through to make sure that I didn't say anything in there that I didn't mean, and that I did say all of the things that I wanted to. And then I'm going to send it to her. So I hope that when we move on, all of us do, and that we can all be adults. And if you can't, then I'm going to get rid of you. Because the one thing we're never going to do is move in the opposite direction of love. And I got away from that. And for that, I apologize. And I got away from a lot of the things that meant a lot to this channel and to me. And that has nothing to do with anybody but me. I did that. Right? Now, it doesn't mean I was out shooting smack or robbing effing banks or doing anything else stupid that I'll be accused of for admitting that I got off of the beaten path. What I mean is, I allowed the problems of the world to keep me from doing the things that I have done, and I've done pretty effing good, done a pretty good job at since I started this, which was trying to support people who wanted to make their lives better. And I'm going to get back to doing that. I'm not going to do it here, right? This is going to, and which is a shame because this was a great address. This was a great place to do what I was doing, but it is coming to an end. I'm going to be relocating, and I'm looking at a bunch of different places. I've had a couple of you reach out and say, "You got to try here." We are, you may have noticed, we haven't been around much, right? My brother is and I are doing a lot of canned content, stuff that we've already done before, which we're repackaging so our people can get together and talk amongst each other and stuff like that. But what we're not doing is creating a lot of new stuff. One of the reasons for that is we've been jetting around looking at where we're going to move. I mean, I don't mean we're picking up a place in Arizona. We're leaving Arizona. So, and I have a water thing. So we're probably going to pick someplace near an ocean this time. The desert thing. We're ready for an ocean. So, but that's what we've been doing, and I'm very, very excited about it. All right, I am moving to a new state. I am definitely not going to be in Arizona anymore. I want to look at the water, so I'm going to be moving closer to the water, unless maybe I could find an island, but might be outside the budget. But we'll see what happens. I am definitely looking to move to water, and moving will do you good. You know what? I agree with you. You know what? I wish I could move down to where you are, but I think that might be a little past the realm of possibility. I believe Lise is in Brazil. It's a cool part of the world. But hey, Roberta, good to see you. It really is. Arwa, how are you? But I am at a piece that I haven't been at, and I hate to admit this, right? But I'd be lying if I said anything other than this. I think one of the reasons that I am starting to really get at peace at this probably has something to do with the fact that the ex is that she's gone out of her way to be kind. It was as ugly as it all is, right? Whenever something goes bad, it's never good for anybody. And we've all been through it. You may not have been through it exactly like we did, but you've all been through it. And if you had a decent relationship, one of the worst things that happens is that you lose the only person that you could have had a conversation with about what just happened to you, right? I wasn't just banging the chick. She was my best friend. And that made it very difficult to have a conversation with anybody about what had just happened. I don't know, writing a apology letter to her from the bottom of my heart was cathartic. And I have apologized, by the way, before this, but I never did it like I just did. And I haven't sent it yet. I have every intention of it. It's just that I do talk to text, and I'd like to make sure that it's exactly what I want to say. But I think that we're healing, and I think we're moving on. And I hope that everybody else is capable. Right? I hope everybody else is capable of being kind as well. Right? That would really be a beautiful thing. But we'll see. Right? If not, I promise you, you were engaged twice before and gave back both rings. Wow. Well, I don't know that I'm going to be getting engaged in the near future, but the squirrel and I have become considerably close. We've definitely gotten closer over the last 30 to 90 days. Now, as far as the Diddy thing goes, look, I'm going to be very excited to cover that case as it happens. Like I said, I'd like to be able to go out to some of it. It just depends on how how fast we can get our new place. But I'd like to catch some of that. But I'm going to tell you right now, and it's not going to make me very popular, but I believe that a lot of what has come out about him is bullshit. I really do. And that's a bummer. It really is. That's a bummer. It made a lot more sense to me when I believed everything they said about Diddy, but I don't. So much of it doesn't pass the smell test. You know, so much of it is just, and unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. And by the way, this has got nothing to do with me. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about my ex. I'm talking about Shannon Sharp. I'm talking about P. Diddy. I'm talking about Jay-Z. I'm not saying any of these people are good people, but Shannon Sharp's a great example. When you start looking at what happened with Shannon Sharp was the most popular dude going. He was offered, are you ready? $100 million as a contract for his podcast. Did you catch that? For doing what I'm friggin' doing. $100 million. That's balling, right? That's balling immaculate. That's kicking the shiz out of life. And everybody loved him until he did the Cat Williams video. And it is the most famous video in the world. It's probably the reason he's worth $100 million, right, for his podcast. On Club Shay Shay, which is his show, he had on Cat Williams. And Cat, let's keep it real. Whether you love or hate Cat Williams drops T-bombs, right, in a way that very few people do. Jaguar did it very early on, but this is something that Cat does. But if we're being 100% honest, 90% of the time, Cat Williams sounds unhinged. He sounds like he might have gotten wasted before he showed up. He's not somebody that you look at and go, yes. His trip on Club Shay Shay was different than any other interview he had done in a long time. He was clear. He was concise. The things that he said just seemed spot on. It was the perfect venue because Shannon Sharpe asked him questions and let him do his thing. And that's what the world hated, right? They didn't want Cat Williams going on there and dropping names. They didn't want him going on there. So they wanted Shannon Sharpe to shut him down. Hey, you can't say that about these people. He didn't do that. And it made him famous. It also made him hated. So when you look at his case, there are so many people, including Shaquille O'Neal, who have been busted saying, I will pay for dirt on Shannon Sharpe. Now, this does have to do with me. I know what it's like when a handful of people decide that they want to destroy you. And I think that's what's happening to Shannon Sharpe. And I'll tell you what else, something I know. I know that an audio can sound different depending on what's said. Now, we're all adults here, right? We're all adults here. If I have a girlfriend that's into getting a little bit of rough sex, and I don't mean beating her up or whatever, but maybe she likes to be choked a little bit, or maybe she likes her hair pulled. This may sound absolutely ridiculous to a lot of you, but to a lot of people, that's just part of sex. Like that's something they're into. And there are women that kind of like a little bit more domination from a guy. Now, if that's your relationship, then sending a text over that says, I'm going to choke the hell out of you and hold you down and do this to you might just be a little bit of sex talk. But if someone decides they want to sue you, they can take that sex talk and make it look like you're a effing savage. Right? There's something wrong with you. You're a misogynist. You want to beat women. You want to choke women. I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't. The way that he kept referring to himself, you ever read any of those quotes? The way he kept referring to himself as a black man, right? You want this black this, you want this black that. It's not how somebody would talk if they were being, this was dirty talk. And it was dirty talk she had probably done 10,000 times. We have to become better. I have to become better. Forget you. I have to become better and not believe in the first line of shit that I hear out of anybody's mouth. Right? I can't believe everybody. And I am susceptible as hell, which is pretty funny, right? All things considered. But I'm susceptible as hell to women that feel that way. When Blake Lively made her report to the New York Times, my video is still up. I don't take down videos I screw up on. Now, I'll be honest, that I'm more proud of that one than any other because that one I did say, hey, I'm going to support her until I have reasons not to. These days, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to attack anybody, and I'm going to research the hell out of it. And if I think their story holds water, then I'll fight for it. But I have been the person to say, I'm going to believe a woman, and I'm going to fight for that woman until I have a reason not to believe that. And I'm not doing that anymore. Did you catch that? I'm not doing that anymore. Harvey Weinstein, read that case. I'm going to get hate mail for this. Read that case. Harvey didn't rape those chicks. Doesn't mean Harvey didn't rape women. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the two women that testified against him, ain't no way he raped them. Sorry. You don't spend 4 years corresponding with a rapist and saying, I want you to meet my mom. Can you fly me and my mom out to LA? That's not what you do to somebody that raped you. That's bullshit. And the other case is worse. So when you start looking at these, I wanted to believe that there's nobody out there that would be comfortable enough to go sit in front of a camera and say, that man raped me, if he didn't. And I know better. Honestly. But it doesn't mean I'm going to become a troglodyte like we were in the 80s and 90s. I am going to suspend judgment. And what I'm going to say is, the woman has accused him of this. Let's see if that turns out to be true. That's all I'm going to say. I sure as shit. And by the way, somebody left a message saying, you didn't stick up for Conor McGregor the way you're sticking up for the guy that, that was accused of the kidnapping. Are you shitting me? You want to compare Conor McGregor, right, to the man that I was talking about the other night. Mr. Patel doesn't fight people for a living. Mr. Patel doesn't have records of throwing things through bus windows on camera, freaking out trash in hotel rooms, or any of the other such shit that's made that loser famous. Well, don't compare apples to oranges and then shit on me because I don't like the comparison. right? Doesn't make any sense. That man that walked into that Walmart is universally loved in his town. He's considered one of the nicest people in the world. Guy's never done a damn thing wrong. Doesn't have a criminal record, and he doesn't beat people up for a living. I'm not saying that mixed martial arts there's anything wrong with, but there are people who go in and fight, and it's kind of a sport. And then you got Conor McGregor, right? Walking in and being the jackass that the guy has been since the start of his career. Like him or not, he is an over-the-top figure that seems to have to continually push the envelope to stay relevant. By the way, read the account of that woman, right? A doctor pulled that condom that had been, that tampon that had been completely jammed up into her. You think that's consensual sex? She just decided to let that go and not pull the tampon out. There's a lot of stuff that you guys, but this is who we are, right? This is kind of the YouTube thing. I'm sure that the guy that shit on me hasn't read 2 of the articles about it, right? We just read thumbnails. Did you know Rick Harrison is doing life in prison? Did you know that they picked a new pope and he's black? I found 4 thumbnails today on YouTube that says new pope, right? First black pope. That's the thumbnail. I assure you, they have not picked a pope, right? They're doing the conclave, right? They light the votes on fire, and if the votes come out black, you know that they have not picked a new pope. If the votes come out white, they have elected. There's no pope yet. But that doesn't stop them from putting up thumbnails. You see, lying pays off on YouTube. Sorry, it does. AI is making a lot of videos these days, says Andrew B. Boy, there's no question of that, is there? And they usually get about 30 to 40 seconds, and they continually recycle it. How would the world react to if the Pope was black? I'll be really honest with you. I'm not Catholic, so maybe I'm not the guy to weigh in on this, but I don't think they'd give a rat's ass. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think they would care. I think we're way past that. I think the narrative of the fact that the races hate each other is convenient for the people that make the news. I don't think it's real. I'm sorry, I don't. I just don't think that, we elected a black president. If you do the math, we got what? 13% of our population in the United States is black. We sure as shit didn't elect a black president twice on black votes, right? It took a crapload of the United States who was white to vote for Barack Obama for him to be elected. I don't see the racism the rest of the world sees. And I have a crapload of black friends who tell me they don't see it. So I don't know whether it's one of those cases where if you're looking for it, you're going to find it, or it's, maybe it's by region of the country. I don't know. But I know that they have a vested interest in dividing us in every single issue that they can. And like prison, I've said this a million times, their biggest fear in prison is that white guys and black guys will hang out and get along. It's their biggest fear, right? God forbid the races start getting along, because then they're going to start demanding things like to be treated right? Equal rights or but if they can keep the black guys and the white guys killing each other, and the Mexicans divided into North and South and killing each other, and all of these gangs going at it, then all they got to do is sit back like referees and watch us kill each other. And whether we're getting 2 rolls of toilet paper a week or a half a roll of toilet paper a week ain't going to matter, because we're too busy stabbing each other. That's the world. They'd be really happy if we all hate each other. This channel ain't going to have anything to do with hate. And I have a newfound lease on life. It might have to do with the fact that I don't worry about money anymore. Or it might have to do with the fact that I'll shut this puppy down if it becomes a place of hate. All right? And I'm going to be putting up a lot more content. I really am, especially after I relocate. But, and funny, I find this interesting. It's probably impossible, truthfully, to go forward at some level and not acknowledge. It's probably going to be harder over on my ex's channel than here. But she was a huge part of my life for a year and a half, and she was a big part of this channel. So we're all going to get to the point where if we bring her up, we're going to remember the really good shit and the funny stuff and things like that. And there isn't going to be any hate. It's not good for me. Do you understand? Honestly, it's bad for me. And unfortunately, it's very possible to feed into the hate of others. And it's also super possible for an audience to go, you know what? If I hate on her, I'm supporting Tommy. Please don't think that if you're hating on anybody, you're supporting me. If you're hating on anybody, you're disappointing me. For real. Hate sucks. Hate makes you want to do drugs. Hate makes you want to do stupid shit. We're going to work on love. We're going to work on love. And we're going to prove that if you move toward love, you can absolutely repair, you can fix, you can heal, right? You can move on. Anything is possible if you're moving in that direction. And if you're moving in that direction, you can absolutely step away. I'm not going to miss you. I'm not going to say anything bad about you on the way out. But we're not having any hate here. And when we get the new place, we're not going to have any hate there either, right? The days of hate are over. And again, there's always a part of me because I never blocked my ex's ability to get into StreamYard. And I always think she might just pop up in the green room. I would have invited her in today if she came by. I would like to say I'm sorry for the entire world to hear. I don't know that everyone else could take it. All right. So the Karen Reed trial is something that I am going to start covering again. I'm going to tell you right now, because people will start talking anyway, so who cares? I am now taking a medication for my back. It is not a pain medication. It is a muscle relaxer. It's called baclofen. And they have started to give me baclofen for what's been going on with the spasmings, which is keeping me from doing lifeboat stuff. And so far, baclofen has been an absolute godsend. I was going to go live on the Karen Reed trial today, and I thought I don't want to sit in the chair long, but I think I'm not going to push it. You know, I'll sit until it starts feeling weird, and then I'll bail. But I'm going to start covering the Karen Reed trial. It's a fascinating case. It really is, and there's a lot of meat on the bone. We still haven't seen Troopa Proctor. We still haven't seen a lot of people in this case that are going to make it all kinds of fun. Oh, you got a cortisone shot and it's helping? Oh, I love that. Congratulations. That is good stuff. And it is, Kristen Melinda. Back pain sucks. That's a beautiful sentiment. And I don't care, by the way, whether you believe in God or not. Still a beautiful sentiment. The more we become like Jesus, the more we love people, regardless of how they treat us or others. God wins. I agree with you 100%. You guys know where I stand on that. If that offends you, I'm sorry. I'm a follower of Christ. All right, peeps. I've been keeping these short for a reason, right? Because honestly, I'm doing everything within my power to not sit in this chair for long periods of time. I'm really trying to heal so that I can attack this. Stop by tomorrow. I think I'm probably going to be doing some Karen Reed in the morning. Thank you for those of you that stick around. Hey, it's Johnny Scoble, the artist formerly known as Johnny Scoble. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys mean the world to me. So you had 7 trigger points yesterday. I'll be honest with you, Cliff and Ferguson. I love trigger point injections. I know that probably sounds really stupid. I love trigger point injections. Zero Fox Given. Good to see you. I'm sorry I'm pulling the plug a little early tonight. It's a back thing. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go a full hour and a half. I will have a subject matter. There are things we'll be talking about, but please do stop by. And I hope that this was a positive message. I didn't want to come and do what I did yesterday. And by the way, if my ex is watching this, I never stopped loving you. Sorry things went down the way that they did. And there is no chance the world will ever hear this story. And that's probably a decent thing, honestly. Whatever the people heard, they can live with. But I'm sorry for my part in that. And I mean that. All right, peeps, between now and the next time I see you, reduce a little harm. I swear to God, I'm going to try. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, peeps.